Okay, so at TechWiser, we have tested a lot of foldables over the years. Earlier foldables were fragile AF, hinge problems, crease nightmares, poor durability. But over the last 2 to 3 years, companies have cracked the durability and hardware game. Now the focus has shifted to two big pain points: battery life and camera quality. Because if you're paying flagship money, you expect flagship batteries and flagship cameras. But most foldables, they're still lagging behind the regular flagship candy bar phone, except for one, Vivo. Like last year, Vivo launched its first flagship phone in India and we were impressed. Like solid cameras, big battery, finally a foldable that felt like flagship. And now they are back with this, the Vivo XFold 5. Like this has a 6000 mAh battery, 50 megapixel triple camera setup. So the question that has to be asked is, what's new this year? Moreover, are foldables ready for mainstream adoption in India? I'm genuinely excited for this one. This is the second foldable for this week. Pratik, TechWiser, let's folding. Now, before we get into the video, you get this big rectangular premium box. Inside the box, you get the phone, a case that just protects the back and hinge side of the phone, a SIM ejector tool, some paperwork, 80-watt flash charger, and a Type A to Type C cable. And every time you unfold a foldable, it feels like a mini unboxing experience. Like that satisfying unfold, the reveal of the inner display. It's like tech doing ASMR. A very wholesome moment. Now, the first thing that grabbed my attention here was the design. Like the first time I picked up the XFold 5 from the desk, I didn't even open it. I just held it shut because even closed, it felt like a normal candy bar flagship phone. The back here has a matte finish and this grey color like looks very premium. Vivo calls it titanium grey. Now what they have used is glass fiber. It's made up of thin, strong strands of glass. So when the phone drops, you don't get the usual shatter or cracks on the back panel. But that's not all. Because of this glass fiber material, it also makes the phone super light to hold, and especially for a foldable with a 6000 mAh battery. And it weighs around 217 to 220 grams, which makes it one of the lightest foldables out there. Now, not just that, it's also quite slim. Like, see from the side, the thickness is barely more than a Type-C port, so they had to somehow make space and put the Type-C port. Now the side frames are made up of metal, the hinge is made up of aluminum alloy, and it folds smoothly, no wobble or that weird clickety-clackety sounds. Plus, the hinge is strong enough so that the screen stays still at every angle. Now, along with all of this, it is the world's first foldable to have IPX8, IPX9, IPX9 Plus, and IP5X certification. Now, you might have heard about IPX8, X9. What's interesting is IPX9 Plus. So the deal here is you can not only dip the foldable in water, but IPX9 ensures that you can even fold and unfold the display underwater. Now this might seem small, but when you fold or unfold a foldable, there are brushes and gaps that open around the hinge. So to be able to seal that and give IPX9 Plus is actually an engineering marvel. And oh, what is this? I see a button here. I wonder what it does. Well, I'll come back to this in just a moment. And once you have appreciated how good it feels in the hand, so yes, from the outside, the XFold 5 Pro pretty much nails the build. But a foldable isn't just about looking premium shut. It's what happens when you open it. That's where the display takes over. Because it's the display that makes foldables foldables. On the front, you get this 6.53-inch display. The display here looks just like a normal phone. Earlier, in order to make the foldable more accessible, front display on the foldables were quite narrow. Typing with both of the thumbs felt cramped, and the video watching experience on the cover display was not good. So from content watching to browsing articles, scrolling reels, the cover display here can be used just like any other phone. Plus, the display here is LTPO, so it can instantly switch refresh rates from 1 Hz to 120 Hz to save battery. Now, the front display here has second generation armor glass protection. Now, in terms of brightness, let it be indoors or outdoors, the cover screen is pretty bright here. But when you need to multitask, that's when you open this 8.03-inch inner display. Like even the inner display is LTPO, so it can switch between 1 Hz to 120 Hz. So the other day, I was reviewing a script while traveling, so I could open Chrome and YouTube in split screen mode and the Google Docs app in a small window to check some facts and research. Or while I was having dinner, instead of looking for a stand or a bottle to keep the phone like this, I just kept it in this hover mode. Like the content plays in the top part and the bottom part just acts like a trackpad. Now there are speakers on the top and the bottom part and they are pretty loud. Like listen for yourself. And another Indian use of this big screen was open all 3 ride booking apps on the screen to compare rides and book the cheapest one. And in terms of multitasking, you can open 4 apps at the same time, 2 in split screen and 2 in small windows. And not just in indoors, even outdoors, while reading articles or scrolling through reels, this display here is pretty bright. But no matter how good a display is, at the end of the day, you're still going to pull out your phone for photos. And this is where most foldables compromise. Now see, on paper, the XFold 5 has very promising specs for a folding phone. But is it actually good? Or is it just pass? So we took some photos from the main camera. The light control here is on point. Also, if you see the colors of the leaves, damn, they are so close to natural. Even the skin tone that you get in the photos are very closer to natural. Next, we took some photos on the telephoto camera, and there's not much to say, like have a look yourself. You can also take 100x photos, and with the magic of AI, it tries to rebuild the photo and the photos look sharp. You can even make the photos interesting. Like in the portrait mode, you get some Zeiss preset, and the photos from them are in ultra-wide angle camera, the photos have details and the color light control is good. On top of it, there is very minimal color shift between the main and the ultra-wide angle camera. Now in videos, you can shoot videos max at 8K 30 FPS, but come on. Who is shooting videos at 8K? So this footage that you see is recorded in 4K 60 FPS, and you can have an idea of the smoothness or the exposure control. Now you can also shoot portrait videos at 1080p 30 FPS, and you can have an idea of the background blur. It looks so DSLR-esque. And see, if I'm moving my finger or hands, the background blur doesn't glitch it out. Now coming to the 2 selfie cameras, like both the cover display and the inner display selfie camera is 20 megapixel. The selfies here come out good. In terms of videos, it can shoot maximum at 1080p 30 FPS. Overall in cameras, not just the XFold 5, all the Vivo flagships have a spectacular camera and their photo processing is on point. Now apart from the camera, what is also spectacular is the battery. The XFold 5 comes with a 6000 mAh thick battery, which is like the highest I've seen in a folding phone as of now. It's sick. Get it? Now in my short usage of the phone's cover and inner display, playing games, doing some productivity tasks, watching content and reels, battery easily lasted me a day on a single charge. And speaking of charging, XFold 5 supports 80 watt flash charger in the box. So it tops up the phone in just about 40 to 50 minutes to 100%. And this also supports wireless charging. So these are the areas where there is an upgrade over last year's XFold. Now one area where it is same as last year is the performance. The XFold 5 comes with last year's flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, along with 16GB LPDDR5X Ultra RAM and 512GB of UFS 4.1 storage. Now we ran the Antutu benchmark, which is an overall score to the phone. It scores somewhere around 20 lakh. We even ran the CPU throttling test, and the graph here is all green. But these are benchmark. How does it perform in real life tasks? So in my on-the-go productivity task, I had multiple tabs open along with a video call on WhatsApp. It handled all of them without any issues. But what makes me really happy in a foldable is gaming on this big screen. So in BGMI, it can handle smooth graphics at 90 FPS. Gameplay as usual is smooth. And what makes the experience even better is the game mode. So when you press fire, there is a haptic feedback on that. Plus, there is bypass charging support. So if you're playing games while charging your phone, so the power goes directly to the components rather than via the battery. And in terms of heavy games, I played Wuthering Waves for a casual half an hour to 40 minutes. It's fine. But if you play longer than that, the device starts getting a bit warm. Overall, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is pretty much capable of handling a foldable task or any 2025 task. Now let's come to the part that actually makes a foldable software. The XFold 5 is running on FrontTouch OS 15 based on Android 15. Now there are some good useful software features available. The first feature is Smart Call. So if you're getting a phone call, just raise your phone over to the ear and the call is received. Next, remember the extra button I showed you in the beginning? This is called a shortcut button, and you can customize it to open any app or do any action you want. So I've set the single press and hold to switch from ringer and vibrate, and the double press mode to open phone pay. Along with the shortcut button, for smooth multitasking, you have this Origin workbench. If you swipe from the right corner, a multitasking panel opens up. It helps you to switch between apps in just one tap instead of swiping from the bottom. Now there are some AI features as well, because phone in 2025 without AI is like Maggie gets cooked in just 2 minutes. In the gallery, you get this AI image expander and it does a good job. Next, if you have an old photo, you can use this AI photo enhance option to enhance the photo, like nice. Along with all of this, you get the usual AI eraser, so you can remove unwanted people and objects from photo. I wish we could do this in real life. Now in terms of software updates, it will get 4 plus 5 years of software updates. Now I know what you're thinking, like, damn, this XFold 5 seems too perfect phone, Pratik. Well, there are a bit of flaws, and this is mostly in the software section. Like the system apps and some third-party apps adapt well to the bigger screen, but there are some third-party apps that just don't. Like, let me show you some examples. If I open apps like Uber and Ola side by side, some apps just don't adapt to the split screen aspect ratio. Google can have a subset version of Android for bigger screen phones like Android 12L. Now, whether foldables are practical or not, Well, they are definitely practical. Every fold maker is getting hardware right, and software is the space where we might see the next innovation happening. Now, the XFold 5 is priced at 1.5 lakh and it goes on sale on 23rd July. Let us know if you agree with our software take or not, or if you have a different one. The comment section is all yours. I read it for the next 1 hour. On that note, this is signing off. See you in the next video. Pew, pew, pew.